Haunted cemeteries, 17th century witch cults, nice, and 3 white ladies. There's a lot of white ladies that apparently are haunting the halls. Always a white lady. A lot of Karens are haunting the hallways. These ghost tales are getting out of hand. Welcome back to Bumblebee. Here are the top 10 scariest places in the UK that are definitely cursed. Don't go here. Number 10. Highgate Cemetery, London. A cemetery, of course. It's like a hotel of the dead. We'll start here. This cemetery is located in London, and for years now, it's been the central point of many horrific tales. Many a horrific tale, if I may. These stories include that of demons, ghosts, and all things paranormal, and even the famous Highgate vampire. Yeah, we're starting our list off with a vampire. What a high bar. I set it way too high. Legend goes that the cemetery is home to this, vampire, as first reported by 2 girls walking through the area. They claim to see the dead rise from their graves, which is pretty jarring. Probably not gonna forget that one. Soon after this report came the discovery of animal carcasses, which is never a good sign. But to make matters even worse, if such a thing exists, worse than vampires, all of these victims had been drained of their blood. Little bite marks, and they were very pale. Stories of the vampire spread like wildfire. Obviously, it's pretty sweet. People were rightfully creeped out. This all led to the vampire hunt that took place on Friday, April 13th, 1973. Yeah, they had a vampire hunt, a real life one. How amazing is that? Everyone's wearing top hats, just swinging away, and vampires just beating up pale dudes, being like, oops, my bad, Victorian dude, get you back up on your feet. During this hunt, residents of the town began exhuming bodies and then beheading them because they thought that was the key to rid of vampires, so they did that to real life bodies. That's disgusting. Number 9, Blickling Hall, Norfolk. Blickling Hall, located in Norfolk, England, is a beautiful, stately home that dates back to the 15th century, and it's been the subject of numerous reported ghost sightings and paranormal activity. Of course, or else I wouldn't be talking about it. It'd be rather boring. One of the most famous ghost stories associated with the hall is that of Anne Boleyn's ghost. Anne Boleyn's ghosts. According to legend, Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII, was born at Blickling Hall, and her ghost is said to now haunt the property. Headless ghost haunting the property. Couldn't imagine a more terrifying place to sleep. Her ghost has been seen wearing a white dress and carrying her own severed head. Kind of like this. That's really about as haunting as it gets, if you ask me. And apparently on the anniversary of her beheading, people have reported seeing Anne ride up to the estate in a ghostly carriage, driven by also a headless man. So that's a terrifying image to see rolling up. Imagine them backing up in your driveway and then pulling away. You'd be like, who the fuck? Another famous tale is that of the screaming lady. That's nice and comforting. It is said that a lady who was killed in the hall has been heard screaming in the corridors every single night. So you're not getting 8 hours, that's for sure. You're gonna wake up to this screaming woman, and then the headless carriage is gonna back up into your thing and then leave. No rest, either way. 4 stars. Number 8, the Tower of London. One of the most well-known and historic landmarks in the United Kingdom. I've been there. It's pretty creepy. I feel something moving up my spine when I walked in there. It has a long and fascinating history, steeped in legend, lore, and you guessed it, ghosts, pal. A lot of ghosts. So many ghosts in this one. For sure, this is the most haunted. Should have been number 1. Too late to change that now. One of the most famous ghost tales here associated with the Tower of London is that of the princes in the tower. This refers to 2 young sons of King Edward IV, who were both imprisoned in the tower in 1483. They are believed to have died there, and now they haunt the grounds forever. Horrible, what a horrible fate. Their ghosts are said to haunt the tower to this day, and many visitors claim to see their ghostly apparitions wandering through the corridors and chambers. Yeah, 2 ghosts, both wandering. Passing you, sorry, oops, excuse me. There we go, 2 ghosts, very crowded hallway. Other famous ghosts of the tower include Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII, who was of course beheaded in the Tower Green in 1536. And another famous ghost is that of Sir Walter Raleigh, who was in prison in the tower on several occasions. So it's a full house. There are way too many ghosts here, if you ask me. Number 7, Snedeker Castle. One of the most famous ghost stories associated with Snedeker Castle is that of the White Lady. Here we go, classic Victorian, pale, floaty lady. That's great. A ghostly apparition is said to haunt the castle's grounds. Now, according to legend, the White Lady was once a young woman who was killed by her jealous husband. And her ghost has been seen wandering through the castle's gardens and along the castle's walls ever since. Yeah, just can't get any rest. All these ghosts walking around doing their legs. Doing their legs? I don't know. It's That's what people say. Yeah, I'm just doing my legs. I'm out for a walk, doing my legs today. Another famous ghost story associated with Snedeker Castle is that of the feudal ghost. This one's kind of funny. It's a little funny. It's dark, but it's funny. According to legend, this ghost is the spirit of a former resident of the castle who was killed in a duel over a dispute with a neighbor. Sorry, with a dispute with thy neighbor. His ghost is said to haunt the castle's courtyard, and he's been seen walking through the castle's walls, still feuding, which is so terrifying. Guy comes through your wall, he's like, keep it down over there. You're like, oh, this guy's so scary. Other famous ghosts of Snedeker Castle include the ghost of a servant woman who is said to have fallen to her death from the castle's stairwells, and as well as the ghost of a soldier who was killed during the English Civil War. So again, it's a full house. Doesn't matter which ghost you're bumping into, it's gonna be a rough time. A headless ghost, a woman who fell to her death, just a soldier in the hallway. You're not sleeping at all. Number 6, the Ram Inn. Another day, another haunted hotel. I'm just full of haunted hotel facts today. What a weird Tuesday. This one here, the Ram Inn, is located in England, and it's known to be one of the most haunted inns in the United Kingdom. A lot of ins in that sentence. A lot of ins and outs. The building dates back to the 12th century, and it has a long and, well, quite frankly, a terrifying resume attached. One of the most famous ghosts at the Ram Inn is that of a young woman who is said to have been killed in the building in the 16th century. Now, her ghost is often seen in the bishop's room, where she is said to have been killed. That's where it all happened. Another famous ghost is that of a former owner of the inn who was allegedly involved in devil worship and occult practices. Yeah, he's like, here's your key, here we go, hail Satan, and have a great night. Like, what? Thank you so much. What did he say at the end? His ghost has been seen throughout the building, just everywhere, which is comforting, and many visitors have reported feeling an eerie presence in the rooms where he is said to have conducted his rituals. Yeah, check under the bed for salt triangles and shit. You don't want to see any of those. There's a pentagram burnt into our duvet. It's not a good sign. Other paranormal activity reported at the Ram Inn includes doors slamming shut all by themselves, strange moaning from some rooms, which could be one of two things going on, and the feeling as if somebody is watching you. It would suck if somebody was watching you while moaning. That'd be a rough combo. The inn has been investigated by numerous paranormal groups and has been featured on several TV shows. That's how you know it's the real deal. When a camera crew comes through and starts waving shit around, just get out of there. Number 5, the Ham House. Now, despite its name, no, there's no ham being served here at all. Quite disappointing. It's not like Waffle House in this situation, sadly. It's just a hotel. The Ham House has a reputation for being one of the most haunted buildings in the UK. One of the most famous ghosts associated with Ham House is that of Elizabeth Murray, the daughter of the house's builder, who is said to have died of a broken heart after being separated from her lover back in thy day. Imagine that. Imagine dying of a broken heart, Victorian era. What a weird way to go out of all the ways you should have gone, you know? Her ghost has been seen in the house's gallery and in the gardens, and many visitors have reported feeling her presence. Hopefully not moaning in your ear, hopefully you can see it instead of feeling it, behind you. Another famous ghost is that of a former housekeeper who is said to have died in her room at Ham House. Her ghost is now seen in the room and has been known to move objects around, which again, not ideal when you're traveling. Other paranormal activity reported at Ham House includes the sounds of footsteps and voices when no one is present at all. Again, doors opening and closing by themselves, that's almost common at this point, and a feeling of being watched and or followed by an unseen presence, again, will follow. And again, 0 ham is being served here, so 1-star review for this one. No ham, big problems. Number 4, Corfe Castle. Corfe Castle, located in Dorset, England, is a ruined fortress with a rich history and, of course, many ghostly tales. Many a tales. The castle was originally built in the 11th century and it was destroyed during the English Civil War in the 17th century. Now, one of the most famous ghosts associated with the castle is that of Lady Bankus, the wife of the castle's owner during the Civil War. Now, according to legend here, she defended the castle against enemy soldiers and was sadly killed during the siege. Her ghost has now been seen wandering in the castle ruins, dressed in a long, you guessed it, white gown. Because you can't pick colors after you die. You can't have any jeans, God forbid. Another famous tale is that of the drummer boy. Little Nick Cannon ghost action going on here. A drummer boy who is a ghostly figure who is said to haunt the castle gatehouse. Now, according to legend, the boy was caught spying on enemy soldiers, and this swiftly led to his sad demise, him and his drum. no more. The ghost has now been seen and heard drumming his sticks on the castle walls, which, in my opinion, is pretty bad when it comes to ghosts. Better than one moaning in your ear. Imagine that, guy just whipping the snare the whole night. It's rather peaceful. As you walk up the steps to the castle, you might also learn about Edward the Martyr, who was set to be king until he also lost his life here at the hands of a stepmother who wanted her own birth son to be heir to the throne. So yeah, a lot of Game of Thrones tea going on here, a lot of ghostly tea that's happening. In other words, you're not getting any sleep at this one either. Let's move on. Number 3, Chillingham Castle, Northumberland. Chillingham Castle, located in Northumberland, England, is considered to be one of the most haunted castles in the country. Pretty badass. The castle has a dark and mysterious history, and there have been numerous reports of paranormal activity over these years. Now, one of the most famous stories here associated with the castle is the Blue Boy. Yeah, I just saw Avatar 2, so I couldn't be more psyched for this one. According to legend, the ghost here is the spirit of a young man who was imprisoned in a room in the castle and was just sadly left and forgotten. And he died, and now he haunts that room. His ghost has been seen by many visitors, appearing, as I hinted before, he appears as a blue flash of light, or as a blue boy or a blue person dressed in blue clothing. Nice. You'll be haunted by the Blue Man Group in the middle of the night. That's the scariest thing I've ever heard. Another famous tale is that of a specific room in the castle where prisoners were once harmed and ultimately their lives were taken. They were, that was the room that it all happened in. Visitors have reported feeling cold spots, hearing moaning, and feeling doors slam shut, all the usual things, but like I said, most importantly, keep an eye open for the Blue Man Group haunting you. That's probably the most key factor here. Other reported sightings include ghosts of ladies in white, a soldier, and even a ghostly cat. So if you're allergic, bring some meds. You're gonna need it for this one. Number 2, Pendle Hill. Pendle Hill is a famous landmark located in England, and it's also known for its connection to the Pendle Witches. Yeah, this is great. This one's terrifying. The Pendle Witches were a group of women who were accused of witchcraft, and they were subsequently executed in the 17th century. The hill and the surrounding area said to be haunted by the spirits of those who were accused and taken out for witchcraft. So very specific witchcraft one going on here. One of the most famous ghost stories associated with Pendle Hill is that of the White Lady. Again, classic white gown. Can't change that. According to legend, the White Lady is the ghost of a woman who was accused of witchcraft and then executed on the hill. She just happened to be wearing the white gown, which in my opinion is not very witchy. Usually witches wear all black with a big hat. White gown, okay, a little different. Another famous ghost story associated with Pendle Hill is that of the Black Dog. According to legend, the Black Dog is the ghost of a large black hound that was seen to have been owned by one of the accused witches. Now we got ghost dogs, that's terrifying. The dog is said to haunt the hill and the surrounding countryside, and many people have reported seeing it late at night, or, even scarier, hearing it bark in the darkness. I'd be concerned too. I would go check it out and be like, hey, you okay? And then I just wouldn't be seen again because a witch would take me. Terrifying. And finally, number 1, the Glasgow Necropolis. This place is exactly what it sounds like. It's a necropolis, so how better to finish a list? Here we go. The Glasgow Necropolis is a Victorian cemetery located on a hill overlooking Glasgow. I've actually been there before. I've just remembered that. That's terrifying. Over the years, it's become a popular spot for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts due to the many haunting tales that now surround the site. One of the most famous ghost stories here associated with the necropolis is that of a female ghost. I'm not gonna say if it was a white gown or not, but more than likely. According to legend, she is the ghost of a wealthy woman who has been buried in a white dress and veil. No, I lied. There we go. The white dress. Gotcha. Her ghost has been seen by many visitors floating among the tombstones and crypts, so again, it'll be pretty obvious if that's her. She'll be floating and wearing all white. Little obvious. Another tale involves the ghost of a man who was buried alive, which is my worst nightmare. Legend has it he woke up in his coffin and tried to escape, but he died before he could make it out. Visitors have reported hearing knocking sounds coming from the ground and feeling cold spots near his grave, so keep your ears open if you're visiting, I guess. Those are the top 10 scariest places in the UK that are cursed. I've been your host, Taylor McWaters, and I'll see you next time on Bumblebee. Bye.